Welcome back, I'm the Watch King. On this video, we're going to talk about Rolex is scamming you, but are they really? We're going to get into all the details. I've never talked about authorized pre-owned in depth. I think a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of gray market dealers are talking about it. So let's talk about it right now, right? So what is authorized pre-owned? Before we get into any of the details, the Rolex scamming, but are they? It's a whole thing. Are they really? Let's talk about what authorized pre-owned is. So Rolex rolled this out a couple of years, I think a couple of years back now. It's been I don't know. It might have been a couple of years back. It's over a year for sure, right? So this program essentially was for an authorized dealer to have pre-owned watches in the authorized Rolex boutique area, right? Before, if let's pretend I'm an authorized dealer, I'm an owner. Before, I would have to put my watches in a separate area by the jewelry or by wherever. They could not be in the Rolex case. Rolex would not allow that. So they essentially, Rolex kind of was like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. Let's bring in certified pre-owned to assure customers that the watch is 100% authentic, right? Gray market dealers sometimes have a very bad rap. They sell watches that are Frankenstein and a bunch of other stuff. So this is Rolex's way to 100% authenticating the watch, right? That was their whole plan with this thing. So they do it, right? So I'm an authorized dealer. We're going to go over a scenario here. Customer comes into me, right? He has a Daytona and he wants to trade for a new Daytona, right? So I figure out the price, right? Very similar to a car dealership when you trade it in. You know you're going to get a little bit of a hit, right? The car dealership makes money, but you essentially work out a plan. Okay, I'll give you this much in trade, and you owe me this much more for a new Daytona, right? Something like that. Okay, fine, right? So you work out that deal. Now I have a pre-owned watch, but I want to put it in my case. I send it to Rolex, right? Rolex charges me for a servicing, right? That's how it works. And then there might be another fee to get it authorized for the pre-owned, right? You have to pay whatever, as an authorized dealer, to pay Rolex. They ship the watch back, I put it in my case, and Rolex has no control over price at all, right? So they just authorize it, and that's their plan, right? That is the only thing that they control with the watch. I buy the watch, I sell the watch, my price. Okay, that's fine. So that now that you understand how it works, here's where the controversy comes in. Here's where the scamming is, and you hear all those things, right? So they release this. Then a few weeks or a couple months later, I don't remember exactly, Rolex announces that they bought Bucherer. Now, Rolex also announced that Bucherer is the only store allowed to have this certified pre-owned at the beginning. So they announced that they bought it, right? They're the only ones to have it. So now we have a little bit of a mishap here, I guess you could say. So I'm Rolex now, an AD version. I mean, it's all under the same big umbrella charity foundation. That's what it's under. I'm Rolex. I send the watch to Rolex. Rolex sends the watch back to me. And now I make the price under the Rolex umbrella. So Rolex sells a watch. That Rolex sells a watch for $15,000. This Rolex sells the watch for $45,000 because it's pre-owned. Does that make any sense? I don't know. This is where the scamming comes in. Is it really a scam? Legally, no. Right? It's not a scam. You're getting a watch. You're paying money for it. Maybe you're paying way over market value. Let's say there's a Kelley Blue Book for cars, right? Car market value. Us gray market dealers are pretty much on that Kelley Blue Book, especially with Rolex, right? We're not overcharging, and it won't be like super cheap. It'll be right there. Rolex might be 100% more, which is a big, especially in Rolex is big, right? So that's where everybody's coming in. Don't get scammed with Rolex. Rolex is scamming people. It's not a scam, right? So this is a whole controversy with this thing. And then they rolled it out to other authorized dealers that are not owned exclusively by Rolex. These are other ADs. Here's the problem. I'm an authorized dealer, not with Rolex, right? I have watches let's say I have 5 Daytonas, right? White face Daytonas. And I kept them in the back because I knew, I knew about this program coming out or whatever. I knew about this long time ago. I didn't want to sell it for retail, right? So they write on the card, Joe Schmo bought this watch in 2018, right? And they fill out the card, they register it with Rolex, and it sits in the safe, right? Now this new program comes out, they send it to Rolex, right? Rolex authorizes it, they send it back, and now an authorized dealer never sold the watch for $15,000 is now charging $30, $45, whatever they want for this Daytona. That's what I have a problem with, right? And before this program rolled out, there was an authorized dealer. I'm not going to name names. This is before I found my AD. This is before I went to mine and found how good these people are. But I went to this other one, and they had 2 Daytonas. This is years ago, right? With the ceramic Daytonas. And I knew these watches weren't pre-owned. I just knew it. It wasn't the stickers were left on, right? Because they took the stickers off. But this watch was never worn. You could know, right? So both the watches were in the case. I go, why aren't, it was very close to the Rolex area, but it wasn't Rolex. I go, why are these 45,000? They're 15,000. They go, well, these were a customer traded it in. Sure they did. Sure they traded it. This is what we need for it. I go, okay. I walked out and I never came back into that AD, right? So that is something that was happening before this program. I can't even imagine after this program. And now a lot of the gray market dealers that I've talked to, they don't want to be on camera. They don't want, but they've told me that they buy from Rolex. They buy the desirable watches. They don't pay retail, right? Because they're gray market. They pay over, and these AD people, the owners of the AD, they're just very greedy. Now, to me, that's a problem, right? And Rolex, I don't think Rolex even cares. I truly don't think Rolex cares about it, because if they did, they would figure out a way to stop this type of stuff. Truly, they would. I think they like their watches being over retail, and it's just a sad thing because a lot of collectors now are turned off by the brand because of that. And I think it is the best watch brand in the business, right? Maybe it's not the most complicated or best finished, but it is a lifetime watch. It is a generational watch. It is something you can look down and say, oh my gosh, I earned this. And the way that things are going with this whole thing is just not very good for the consumer. It's only hurting the consumer. So the only way we can combat this, we got to stick together. All you subscribers and watchers, just don't buy watches over retail. Just stop it. Then they'll go down. They'll go down because nobody's buying it. Yeah, and we saw this, right? We saw this with the crash after the whole lockdown. We saw it. We saw the prices crash. We could have kept it going. We could have got stuff down to retail, and it will happen again. Those people that buy subs at 15, crazy prices, right? You're going to regret it. It's going down. It's going to crash hard, and I'm going to be waiting when that happens. I'm going to keep making videos, and I hope you all stay tuned. So let me know your thoughts on this authorized pre-owned. Is it a scam? Technically, no on the legal level. Is it definitely scummy? Yes. Is it a gray market thing? Yes. But legally, of course, it is not a scam. You are willing to buy the watch at their price. All right, I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer. I want to thank you all, and I will definitely catch you in the next one. Have a great day.